been a rise in femininity in men and masculinity in women. Stay tuned as we talk about the dichotomy of what a relationship is. All right, welcome back to another episode of Claire here. Today we are taking a change. I wouldn't say a change, but we're going to be talking about masculine and femininity in relationships. I figured I would talk about this. I've noticed this pattern, it's not really what I usually would talk about unless it's about a reality show, but we're going to be talking about the masculinity and femininity in women. Thank you guys again for supporting me. A lot of views coming in for my whole series of Love is Blind. I want to make it a separate playlist so you guys can go back and watch that. But thank you guys so much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, so definitely support my shorts channel. It has been blowing up. Thank you guys so much for that support as well. Enjoy the video. All right, so first things first, let's talk about what femininity and masculinity is. So I have this quote that I wrote. Every romantic relationship has masculine and feminine. Think of the ocean. If you're not pushing, you're pulling. So basically what that is in regard to is the fact that there's no more balance anymore. I've noticed that we don't know what femininity and masculinity is. Like, a lot of people will sit there, and use their own perspective of what they see it as. They're like, oh, masculine is taking out the trash. Masculine is I lead, you fall. Feminine is wearing pink. That's why I wear pink today. But it's something that's so innate in nature that I don't really feel like there's a way to describe it. It's a feeling. Like, we'll talk about this for the next couple of minutes. I just feel like there needs to be a clear indication of what it is to truly be in your feminine, truly be in your masculine. And that's not to say that it can't be multifaceted, because you can still be in your feminine and still go to work. You can still be in your masculine and be a stay-at-home father. It's just the fact that feeling, like, I know it sounds silly, but like that feeling, that emotion that emotes from it. I would say, for example, to me, I feel like a lot of people don't understand that the reason why there is, we have radicals in every group. There's the ultra feminist, then we have the, toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is talked about a lot because there are a lot of physical, I can't say that word. There's a lot of negative physical results from toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity can cost you your mortality rate. Okay. Not saying that, fatal femininity or, being a true full-on feminist, don't need anybody disrespectful to men. That can also cost you as well, and not being able to have that experience of truly being masculine. Like, to me, let me show you my definition of it, and then we'll go into like the trends I'll see. I would say, to me, excuse me, it's the lights they always make me see. Excuse me. But to me, I feel like with masculinity is, you're taking charge. You're taking charge, but you're also leaning on me at the same time. Okay. Femininity is I'm letting you take in charge, but I'm trusting you at the same time. Like, a lot of people always think of, like, when it comes to masculinity and femininity, it's always me, 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 me. What do I get? What do I get out of it? But it's really, to me, I feel like it's really push and pull like an ocean, like a tide. Okay. Not trying to get philosophical, but like a tide. Like, think of like a push and pull of the ocean. Like, so many people just automatically think, okay, well, I'm masculine, I need you to listen to me. I'm feminine, I need you to pay bills. Like, it's not that simple, but it's also not that complicated as well. Like, I feel like there's no definition. I'm trying to think of like a word to describe it, but like, it's just a feeling, like how you feel inside. Like when I was working multiple jobs, like, to me, that feels very masculine, because the reason why I feel like it made me feel very masculine in my early 20s is the fact that I didn't have time to dress my femininity. Can't get my nails done, working my second job, Vice versa, I can't speak on men. That's why I said it's kind of limited in this portion of the video. With men, I feel like with men, like, I feel like, you know, masculinity would be like, okay, like, I want my woman to respect me without me having to make a certain amount of money, or me not paying the bills. I still want to have that level of respect, you know. I still want to feel like I'm a man, like I'm taking charge of everything, right? So this portion, we're going to talk about basically the repercussions of it in the dating field. Now, there are a lot of shows out there, you know, Pop the Balloon. There's a lot of shows out there, Pop the Balloon. What other dating show they have on there? Love is Blind, I guess that counts, chat. I don't know. But Love is Blind would definitely be a perfect example. Hannah, I don't like using her because I feel like I said, we don't know much about this young lady, but from what we know, I don't like. But for example, she spoke to Nick, who she sees as feminine because he doesn't know a lot about bills, and I feel like she sees him as feminine because he doesn't know a lot about bills, and he doesn't know stuff that a man would know. And the way she talks to him is disrespectful. Like, me personally, like from my personal experience, like a truly masculine man, like Garrett said, "You better than me." I mean, he didn't say those words. He said it in his own way, but like a truly masculine man, you're not gonna be able to speak to him like that. You're not. Okay, you're not. And then on top of that, you're not going to want to address him like that as well. Like, me personally, like, you know, when somebody first, you know, meets me or dates me, they always think, oh my God, like, who's gonna deal with you? You're very headstrong. You have strong opinions. Da, da, da. I was just like, I'm like with a masculine man, I'm like a little kitten. Like, whatever, like, as long as you prove yourself a good leader and you can lead us into battle, I'll do whatever you say. I mean, within reason, within reason, but like, you naturally are gonna be like, okay, well, like I said, like, it's like a balance. Like, if a man is acting masculine, like, I mean, someone's got to take up the feminine role. Like, it's a natural thing. Like, that's why I've seen the rise of the opposite of our nature. Like, I've seen more women be more masculine because they've had to take on that. They've had to take on that masculine role of working multiple jobs to care for the kids. They've had to take on that masculine role of leading the household because men are doing podcasts. No offense. But they've had to take the lead in that because no one else, no one else is coming to help them. Like, if you feel like you have, like, there's a method to the madness, because like, if you're in your true masculine, you're going to be able to tap into that masculine side. Like I said, the XY chromosome, but you're going to be able to tap into that side because now you have no choice but to take on that more aggressive, take on that more aggressive role because there's no one else doing it for you. Okay, vice versa, there's been a rise in feminine men because, no offense, like I said, you can argue with me in the comments. You cannot, as a woman, we can do our best. We do our best. I don't have any kids, but I truly feel like you cannot teach your son to be a man. I'm sorry. I know you're just like, oh, I'm the mother and the father, but you're not, though. And you shouldn't have to be, okay? But I personally, I feel like there's nothing I can teach a little boy to be a man. There's no way I can do it. I don't have that innate nature. Like, for example, I can teach plenty of young girls how to be a woman, you know, carry herself, smell good, hygiene, all that, be in her true feminine. I can teach that, but I cannot teach masculinity. There's no way. It's impossible. Okay, I'm speaking on something I'm speaking on something that I have no experience in. Okay, so in that same aspect, like, there's been a rise of feminine men because, no offense, they're being raised by masculine women. And you see how the balance is. Like, if you have a masculine mom, by proxy, you're going to be a feminine man. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, I got to use my words carefully because y'all think that when somebody has a difference in opinion, you think it as someone is wounding you. Or you think that someone's talking down to you. It's like, I have a difference in opinion. I truly feel like there's no way a masculine woman can raise a masculine son. There has to be a balance. There has to be some level of balance. There has to be some level of balance, some type of catch or something for it to balance. So whenever I see a woman, she's like, oh, well, my man's so feminine or da-da-da, which I don't know most women who would admit to that. But if she says, I was like, by proxy, you're masculine. You just don't know it yet. You might be hiding. You might be, you know, like, that's why me personally, like, when it comes to dating, like, I only date masculine men. Like, it's why I have a tendency to date older, because I need somebody who's going to handle business. I don't raise any kids, okay? And by proxy, if I'm feminine, if I'm the diva, and you come in and be like, you're the diva, I'm just like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's not going to work out. That's why I said, like, there's such an imbalance nowadays, because of the fact that men are not being masculine and women are not being feminine. But my final point, like, the reason why I made this video in the first place was that I think that we have to stop fighting against our nature. We have to. Like, there's something biological in us that makes us not like, as women, that makes us not want to work. Like, even down to the chromosome, down to even our hormonal cycles. Like, they literally said Henry Ford based, I mean, I know y'all hate Buddy, but they literally said Henry Ford based the work week off of his own mindset. So he gets that shot of testosterone in the morning. He can do monotonous cycles like that, because even with women, like, our hormonal cycles all over the place. Like, people say we have 1 week. I think I have 4 days during the month where stuff ain't going on. I believe that. I really feel like I have 4 days. I have 4 days, and that's all I get from where BS isn't happening. Like, every single day that I'm doing some part of the cycle. Like, I have yet to have a day where I'm just like, okay, this is chill. There's only I only got 4 of those days where I'm normal. Men's cycles is pretty boring. It's pretty routine. Like, it literally is just like testosterone in the morning, whatever a hormone, and then they're good. Yes, there are certain times of the month where their testosterone fluctuates. That's when you ask. That's when you make sure you ask for a favor from your dad or your uncle. Okay, when the testosterone is fluctuating throughout the month, but most of the time it's the same thing. That's why the work week works for them. Like, I'm not trying to say, like I said, I work a job as well. You know, I'm blessed to have a job. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, you need to quit. Claire told me my hormonal cycle doesn't. I was like, I'm just stating facts. At the end of the day, you're going to get tired as a woman. You're going to get tired of being thrown all over the place. Because I know whenever it's that time for the month, I promise you, I'm useless. Like, you have a better chance of teaching that wall how to count. Like, I'm useless. I'm grumpy. I'm tired. Everything's not right. Like, I'm useless during that time. Men, 30 days of boring. 30 days of the same cycle. I just feel like whenever I see a woman and she's like, oh, well, I worked right up into pregnancy, or I worked 7 days a week, 100 hours a week or whatever. And I'm just like, you're fighting your body's natural nature to do that. Vice versa with men who are like, oh, I want to go 50-50. I want to be a stay-at-home dad, which, like I said, in certain cases, like, I understand, especially if you're retired, I get it. But, like, I'm talking about these men who, like, they haven't even done anything. They've done nothing but left their mom's house. Okay. And they've done nothing but left their mom's house. And they're just like, oh, I want to be taken care of. And this, I was like, listen, like, men are naturally built to work. And that doesn't mean that I'm saying that y'all are so sensitive. I have to do so many disclaimers. That doesn't mean that men shouldn't be given a break, but men are built to work. Look at how they're built. Look how most men are built. Look at their hormonal cycles. Like, men are built to work 5 days a week, if not more. Like, they can sit there and build a road and not feel any, like, they don't have to worry about no hormonal cycle. They don't have to worry about any, pop-up events. Like, these men, like, you're gonna come from, like, these men, like, they literally, like, their cycle, like they're used to providing. Okay. And that doesn't sit there and say, okay, stay at home dads don't have, but, like, even from the emotional aspect, like, I can go back and forth with a kid emotionally and not feel any type of way. But men are too logical to deal with kids' emotions. And before y'all take that and run with it and be like, oh my God, but, like, women were just like, okay, well, we can go with the mood swings. We have mood swings either. When you mood, I mood. Okay, I just said that. But I'm just saying, like, in retrospect, I just feel like the reason why there's such an imbalance is the fact that we feel weird when we're in a relationship with somebody or talking to somebody, because, like, it's there's an imbalance. It doesn't feel natural. Like, I promise you, like, there's a reason why weekends feel so good when you're not doing anything. Like, I just feel like we just need to stop fighting. I think my final point that I'm trying to say, because I'm rambling, is that we need to admit that naturally what the other person wants. Like, for example, with men who are just like, oh, I want a woman who is gonna stay at home and cook everything. But you're forgetting the part when you say, oh, I want her to go work. That takes her out of her femininity, because you want her to sit here and provide and take pleasure and actually, slow down and cook the meal correctly. But you also want her to go to work, which, like, she has to wake up when she's not even ready to wake up. Like, a lot of women don't know this too, but like with women, like, we naturally need more hours to go to sleep, because it's to counteract the amount of it's to counteract the hormonal cycle. Because, like, honestly, like, I wish I could show y'all the brain waves of when a woman's going through her cycle for the month. You would be like, dang, like, I'm not surprised most women aren't living in psychosis. Like, literally, we're getting pulled all over the place. Okay, we're getting pulled all over the place. And I feel like with men are built to, I'm not saying that, okay, a man who's at home with the kids is not worse than a woman, but like emotionally, like, women can handle it. Like, women can handle that back and forth emotional. Like, we even have the ability to read micro expressions, basically, where we can tell, like, instantly, okay, there's something wrong. Like, there's been plenty of times where I'm babysitting my niece and, like, I was like, is she about to cry? 2 seconds later, she starts crying. Like, men don't catch that. They don't catch that. Like, we are just emotionally more aware, emotionally more experienced than men. So we have better success rates with kids, But that's only when we're in our feminine. So if you want to disagree, or if you have another theory on why there's such discourse between men and women, definitely subscribe, share. Let's get here.